think about the way, about things I've done, about the way I've seen school.
That's right.
I found it as an, I found it as an interest as I got older about, all all the Egyptian to me. And so I do understand it and I take in so much more now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this is a fascinating thing to be alive, because so much is happening and we have so many opportunities. And I think we have so much going on in the world that we can fix things much quicker than we have. We don't have to go through 3,000 years of drudgery to try to change something in the world right now with ChatGPT, with computers, with lasers, with all the stuff we got in medicine. In
three 579-6881. And we're also looking for resellers of this program. And so if you're interested in doing that, but the first thing you need to do is take it at least for 3 or 4 weeks and see how it changes you so you can talk to other people. And that is at skoolschool.com/increase. And you can watch the first 11-minute video at no charge. And then once you join for 7 days free, then you can watch the second one. But give
adventures. Because the idea, of course, is, oh my God, I got to,
Yeah.
So there are all these little headwinds that we shifted in to deliver the information to break through those headwinds or eliminate them altogether so people can lean into your product or service and use it with much more joy.
Well, I definitely understand that, because you know what? I would much rather show up for a Friday. Well, this is in the past, of course, but I would have much rather shown up for a Friday kegger party than a Friday exam.
You got it, buddy. Me
So-
too. Me too.
I think I'd rather show up for the exam now because I wouldn't have to wake up the next morning with a headache. But can talk and we can learn more and do more.
We will. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody on the call too.
All
Thanks,
right.
Zach.
Well, thank you so very much. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Look, I love hearing from he excites me because the learning aspect of this, yeah, we do have a learning problem in this country a lot of times, and that's because a lot of times we don't pay attention to what's important to us. We pay attention to what's important to other people. I mean, could this be one of the reasons why we give so much credit to the stars, and we want to live like a star, like a movie star? You want that place. So I am very excited for my next guest. He's going to be joining me in just a couple minutes. I have got to play a friend of mine. Talked to you the other day, Thomas, and you and I kind of talked like, well, we knew each other. Sounded very familiar talking to you. Sounded like somebody who was right there with me on really wanting to make a change. Yeah. And I'm very, very excited for the first time ever to have who, Thomas, you got a brand new organization, you got a brand new thing coming out. You're really starting to take and focus on veterans.
I've had all day long with the different people. 22 hours for mental health, for veteran mental health. That's phenomenal. It's not done anywhere else. You're doing something that's, completely different. And that's why in Veteran Biz Connect on the veterans-owned businesses and veteran service organizations. We bring them together to create an economic synergy, kind of like an incubator, to be able to get those businesses and veteran service organizations being able to touch and reach any veteran anywhere across the nation. We have a free
is that you are talking to of course I'm speaking as you here, but you're talking to your brothers and sisters and promoting your brothers and sisters. You're not promoting somebody just because, hey, if you shop with this guy, I get $1.
right.
That's important when it comes to the veteran community. That's one of the reasons why we created the the veteran and hero, both country and community segment of our partner or of our program, because we understand that, look, women women love to shop and support women. Veterans love to support and shop with other veterans. Heroes, fire departments, you guys and gals are in exclusive clubs that you were together. You're together. You were trained to be together.
Sorority type feeling that we have coming out of the military is a way that we come together. It's the way that we look after one another. It's the way that we take care of each other. It's the way that we cover each other's back. And it's the way that we make sure that each one of us is moving forward in the right lane. Most of us that go through basic training, we go over what we call a wooden wall. Each veteran is pulled up by the next one and then turns around, reaches down and pulls up the next guy behind him before he goes over that wall. That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to be out there, and those that have come from where I've come from and gone from the dark holes, and we're going up that ladder, not forgetting the
service. One of the reasons why you gave me kudos, in which I look, I'm just putting this together because this is important to me to see you, who I consider a hero in my life, you guys be able to put your lives back together, because you know what? We shouldn't want to see anybody fall, but there's no way in hell anybody who put aside their life to fight for our freedom, they definitely shouldn't fall.
Oh, I understand, and I appreciate you putting it out there with a lot of my fellow veterans that talk about war or not. You still signed that blank check to put your life on the line for this great nation, and that's something that's why we're here, to be recognizing those individuals that did such for this nation.
You know what? I would like to say it cracks me up, but and of course I don't find it offensive when a veteran says it, but I think that they're selling themselves short. Is, well, I didn't fight during time of war. So what? Because that's exactly right. Especially in the way that the world is. Hell, half of that conversation we just had with JW about the bottom part of your brain, and we are all right at this moment, we are all ready to fight with everyone out there. We're one step away from being at war with anybody at any time.
I understand, and a lot of those people, they refer back to their MOS, and they refer back to the training, and they refer back to the things that were said, and especially in the Army eyes, a lot of it was 11 Bravo, the infantry is the Army, is the leg that goes out there and does the things. But what I like to remind my brothers and sisters that didn't have the same MOS that I did and was not in the infantry, I couldn't do my job without you.
Yeah.
I did not survive. I did not eat. I did not have my bullets. I did not have the fuel in my vehicle to go do what needs to be done. The communications didn't work without all the other people involved. No matter what MOS you did, whether you had a combat infantry badge or a combat action badge, I don't care. You still, like you said, signed that line, did what you did, served your time, and took part in that 1% of this nation that dedicated themselves to making this nation a safer and better place every day.
We were talking yesterday when we posthumously presented my uncle with his award from Veterans Honoring Veterans, in which I'm going to try to get that played here shortly, that segment. But we mentioned, because my father was sitting there, and he was a Vietnam era vet, and he was, and the question I posed to him was, Dad, what war did you serve in? And the reason why I was asking him this is because I was asking him to prove the point that Veterans Honoring Veterans honors everyone who wore the uniform. It wasn't just those who served in conflict. And Dad said something, and we had to remind, I felt like we needed to remind people that, what? Yeah, Dad was in Germany during the end of the Vietnam War. But if he was not doing his job, the men and the people who were on the ground in Vietnam would not have the support that they needed to do their job. It doesn't matter if there's a conflict in one place and you are 3/4 of the way around the world. If you're not doing your job, this is a team effort. This isn't
always, every day.
There's not. Look, Rambo is not out there. Rambo's not a one man, okay, that doesn't exist. This is a team. You are a family. It is a true family. And when one of you hurt, you all hurt.
And see, that's the thing that I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about as we get deeper into this, time that we're here, is the hurting. Is the hurting at home? Is the hurting afterwards? Is the recovery afterwards? All those things that happen with a soldier after they're out of the military. All this, we can talk all day long about the stuff that's going on while we're in there, and we have so many stories to talk about, so many people to talk about, the history to talk about. But I even talking to people that literally, like my brother. My brother was on the airplane when Grenada was going on, and was less than 3 minutes from jump when they got turned around because the conflict stopped. They got turned around in air, less than 3 minutes from jumping out of the airplane, got turned around, and he's considered a non-combative wartime soldier. But he was booted up in a plane, flying there, ready to jump out, standing up 3 minutes till out the door, and they got turned around. So he gets denied certain, alienable benefits through the VA and different stuff because of that. And that's a shame. That's what hinders and hurts a lot of the soldiers, the veterans out there, no matter male or female, that their status of what they did while they were in changes what they get. It's bonkers.
Let me ask you a question, and this is getting into a little bit on stuff that we're not focusing on for this event, but it really kind of makes me wonder. Hearing stories like that, is there really a surprise that we're down to 1% people joining the military? Because you know what? These kids are watching mom and dad get screwed, and they're like, why in the hell would I go and sign my life away for this?
Well, there's good reason. There's good reason out there, and there's some of that good reason is the benefits that you do get as long as you do what's necessary. Because my brother still got the educational benefits. He still got the other things. He got his GI Bill. He helped his son through school. All of those other things. There might be small things that don't benefit and don't go there, but there's a lot of other benefits that you get from the education, the camaraderie, the network that you get to be a part of. All of those things, and learning what it is to serve, be a part of something bigger and greater than you. Those are important things that the next generations coming up that want to sign up and sign their life on the same check that we did is a great and a true honor to be a part of those organizations.
Yeah, see, this I think one of the questions why I asked this is because you know what, there is no way. There is absolutely not a good way in the world that we can talk about how many veterans are homeless. There's no way that we can't justify it. There is no justification for it. There's absolutely no excuse for the numbers that are out there.
Right.
There's absolutely no excuse for as little amount of support there is. But and that's why I was wondering, are the kids seeing this and they're thinking that that's more of the norm than the benefits? They don't see a lot of the when they return, they go to college and they go on. They don't see a lot of that. It's not in the news. It's not out there making the good stories. It's not out there making the rounds. Every day though, they can go onto the computer, go onto Facebook, go onto anywhere, and you can see stories about homeless vets, wounded soldiers who are getting mistreated and things like that. What do we need to do, in your opinion, in which absolutely not ignoring, that's not where I'm going with this, but I want to know, how do we pick up the good stories? How do we push forward the good stories?
Well, it all depends on who's at the helm. Like you doing something like this, you're finding some of the good stories. You're talking to the people that are making a difference, that are making a change, that want to be a part of picking us up and going in the right direction. And a lot of that comes from us ourselves. Being here doing this is part of making that change. Letting them know that there are people out there that have fought through the system and have gotten to where they need to be. Being a 2-time suicide survivor, a former alcoholic, being almost 350 pounds, going through what I did, losing the weight, getting out on the other side, because of God and the grace of a good woman is the only reason I'm here. So I give all glory to Jesus. But everything that we have going on out here today, we have a chance, us veterans that are veteran-owned businesses and veteran service organizations run by veterans, owned by veterans, or veterans that are working at them, have the ability that we have our military training and we know what we specialize in as each one of those organizations. Some of them are out there and they always talk about being a one-stop shop for the veterans. We do mostly homeless veterans, but we do everything else. That's where we got to start focalizing, Zach, is getting those experts in those areas connected with each other. That's how we make the change. That's how we make the difference. Someone like yourself that is doing what you're doing right now for 22 hours is what you specialize at. Helping the community, getting the word out to help boost us veterans and the entire community as far as high as you can. That's your specialty. You're not out there right now trying to put shoes on veterans' feet. You're not out there right now trying to get them toilet paper. You're doing what you do and what you specialize in. My specialization is making the connections, creating that economic synergy, getting them to be able to survive and have that economic thrive. And then bringing another organization in that focuses and specializes on mental health and PTSD, like I have and have gone through, the depression, the suicide attempts, the anger, the anxiety. All of those things are holes that we fight through And we also feel that when we start going down these paths, that we did something wrong. We did something wrong. We caused this. We have to try to fix this. And then we go looking, and there's so much information, Zach. It's overload on us. Because I searched for decades. I deal with my night terrors every single night. I deal with my anxiety every single day, Zach. But is it to the point to where it is completely ruining my life every moment? No. Is it debilitating? Yes. Do I wind up in the house doing things like this through the screen because I can't take being outside around other people? Absolutely. It is something that happens. And it is something that keeps me from getting out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, being able to work a regular job like every other person can, because I can't take my depression, my anxiety. If it wasn't for my faith that I had eventually found, I would have given. I would have given in, and I wouldn't be here to be able to do what it is that I do for my fellow veterans all over the nation, bringing them together. One of the most beautiful things that's happened through Veteran BizConnect for me is meeting the other veteran business owners and the organizations out there that truly want to help and truly have specializations, and us veterans coming together and realizing that if we work together, we can change the way veteran services are provided up and down this East Coast that I live on. And we're going to make that change. There's a group of us that are coming together in March that are going to make a change. Not that we're going to talk about making a change. We are going to make the changes that are needed, that we see as veterans that have transitioned and gone through these services and seen the flaws. We're coming together because there's 15 or 20 of us that have specializations in different areas. So we're going to take that hub.
It, like I said, I'm excited because that's not talk. There's a plan in action. We can all talk a good game. Everybody can talk a good game. Hell, that's how a lot of people get swindled, is because someone talks a good game. We need more people who are willing to stand up and say, you know what, I am sick and tired of talking. What do we need to do?
That's right. And that's how it all started, Zach. Your exact words is how it started. Somebody looked at me and said, Tom, that's a great idea. What are you doing about it? What do you mean, what am I doing about it? I just told you what I'm going to do about it. Okay, you told me, but did you take action yet? Well, it has to happen. Give me a minute. That was the first time I mentioned it. Now you got to give me a minute to act on it. Yeah, but everybody talks, Tom. How many people actually take action? And that was a real swift kick in the butt. We say other things in the military, but I'm trying to keep it, friendly here. That was a swift kick in the butt and got me moving. Like, okay, how long until I take action? So I took instant action. And the next person I talked to that mentioned anything along those lines, or they told me the exact services that they provided, I said, what are you doing to make sure that your specialization is the best thing that you can do? And then we started coming together. And that's what happens. That's when the camaraderie and the mission-oriented faction of what we do as the military and our training comes together, because we know how to act down our lanes and down our roles of what we need to do. And that's what we're going to do as a group.
I'm going to play a little bit of a dangerous game here with you. I want to ask you a question, and you are succinctly a great person to ask this question.
Okay.
What are we as civilians doing wrong when it comes to helping, or when we come to approach you and offering our help? What are we doing wrong? Where is the disconnect? And what do we need to do better when we say, you know what, we want to help? What do we have to do to prove that?
So, a dangerous game, I wouldn't call it dangerous game. Putting my foot in my mouth is a possibility here, but I don't call everybody that I come across a civilian. I come across as somebody that, you are not a civilian. You're not walking around with your eyes closed, blinders on, not seeing what's going on. You're not a civilian. You're somebody who cares, and you're a community member. That's the difference. What you're talking about, community, pay it forward, that's you. You're a community member. You might not have the distinction of what you talked about as a DD 214 and been a soldier, but you're a community member of the veteran community that wants to be out there and perpetuate us getting to where we need to be. So that's the difference right there. Being a blinded civilian that walks around and doesn't want to acknowledge what's going on, acknowledge what we go through, tell us that, well, you guys get enough benefits, you don't need anything. That's the issue. That's the problem. Stuff like that. But the people that truly want to help like you're doing it. I can't explain it to people better than telling them Zach's doing it. Zach's doing exactly what we need, exactly how it's different by getting out there, making a difference, and offering. Not telling me what to do, not telling me, Tom, I'm here to help you and you're going to do what I tell you to. No, you're not. You don't have no rank, right, or rule over me. You're not going to tell me what to do, but you offer it. Something right when you were with my fellow veterans and the community around us by being make the connection. The unfair advantage that me and another veteran has is we instantly already have that connection. That's why we started Veteran Biz Connect, because we surveyed more than 30. All I did is put rounds down range. This guy's an executive. We need to have that third tier commonality, not just a second tier that we're human and we all have a business, but the third tier commonality works the best is we can walk into a VFW, American Legion, a DAV, some organization like that, and we instantly have a connection. I feel safe. I was just at the VFW earlier dropping stuff off for my local VFW, and I walked in and everybody at the bar was like, "Hey, brother, how are you?" They didn't know who I was. Yeah, I was at least 25 years younger than everybody that was sitting at that bar. But they all said, "Hi, brother, how are you?" I said, "Hey, sisters and brothers, how are you? God bless, have a great night." We had that commonality. So doing Veteran Biz Connect in those locations gives us the sense of, I don't have to worry about anything. That's a brother, that's a sister. It doesn't matter what business they own.
Being tied into the VFW as an auxiliary member, when I rode with the Warriors, I know exactly what you were talking about. It was really kind of funny once I I ride under my grandfather's flags. That's exactly what I would say. I would say that to everybody. They both looked at me and they were and they both kind of had the same question. You could tell it was like we've always wondered what auxiliary members say. And it was kind of neat being able to tell them. So they were like,
Beautiful thing.
and I love the VFWs. I loved being able to sit there and have conversations. They're not
My father's generation, those guys, those were the ones that were sitting in there. Why did they right there? You touched on it, you hit it right there. They needed a place because they were not welcome. They were not welcome anywhere. They were frowned upon. They were treated bad. They were spit on when they came home. All those things that happened during Vietnam and all that stuff, that era. That's when this started because they needed somewhere to be able to come together to talk about their trauma, their drama, their stories, and have a drink and feel safe. Rights than those organizations, Zach.
absolutely,
They're the
absolutely.
biggest powerhouse in our corner, and my generation doesn't know it because all we did is see that's grandpop's place to go and have a beer. And it was the
Yeah.
VFW that I was just at, the Billington Post. That was my grandfather's place to go. He worked there and was so dedicated there, and he got shot in that building protecting it from somebody that was trying to rob it decades ago. But and I know that, remember it, have the paper clippings, all that stuff. But I don't go there because I don't drink. I'm 7 years sober. There's no reason for me to go in there and just have a beer. But I go for meetings. I go for other events. I do get involved in the fact that they're there for more than just a beer. And that generation that I'm talking about, that gap, we don't see it that way because, again, the older generation was just in there. They needed somewhere. I'm accepted in bars. I was given so many beers and stuff because of my service and things that were outside of the VFW and other places. When people mentioned that I was, home from Iraq, that, I didn't need to go somewhere to hide to feel safe, and that's what all the younger generations now have, something that they didn't. But the information that they need to know is that if they don't start getting involved and they don't take action in being a part of it, it's going to go away in the fact that we're going to lose our biggest and best big brother.
Yeah, and as a support system, the VFW and the American Legions are so important because their resources are very limited, but when a veteran falls down, they're there to help them stand back up. They're not going to take in they're not going to take and they're not going to make their life complete. That's
No.
not their job. Their job is to just maintain
We'll
life.
use me as an example, Zach. I have a perfect example of the VFW. So when I got injured and wound up bedridden, I was so scared that I was going to lose everything because my bank account was going down fast. I had no money. And then when I got to the point before I started receiving the stuff that I needed, 6, 7 months before, my bank account was empty. I turned to a couple different organizations out there that I'm not going to mention, and they turned me away because I have all my limbs. They wouldn't help me. And I wasn't 90 days behind in all my bills yet. Okay. There was one organization, Pennsylvania Wounded Warrior Inc., okay, that literally was there to help me at any given moment that I needed it. But my local VFW post, the Billington post, stepped up and asked me to drop off my bills. They took care of 6 months worth of my bills because they asked me to do it. So I didn't need to burden Pennsylvania Wounded Warrior Inc. with my situation. So they didn't have to write a check to help me, but they were there and ready to. But my local VFW post picked up all my bills, didn't give me a dime, but they paid it directly to the creditor and took care of me from their almoner fund. And then I'm now trying to give back to them in every way that I can because they helped me. That's what the VFW and American Legions and those organizations do. But they do it quietly. They do it silently. They're not out there broadcasting my story and telling everybody what they did for me in the community. Not that I would, be upset if they did, but somebody might. So they don't. They keep that to themselves and they keep it within inside their walls. But they're there to help us in every way they can.
I love the fact that you brought up a great point that they take and they say, hey, in which me being part of the auxiliary, after I went down, they took care of me. They paid they paid a month's mortgage for me. They did it. They took care. Look, they take care of their own. They
That's
do
right.
not. In which I don't know if this is something that upsets people, but they do not hand out money to people. They take and they take care of your family. They take care of you and your family because again, we're not talking about things that we're not talking about things that are just affecting you. And you know this, you know this. They're talking about they're helping you and maintain your family.
Yes.
Because where you are hurting, your family is hurting because you never go through pain alone.
That's right. And, a couple things, one thing to talk about there is that they didn't take care of my personal bills. They asked for my household bills, the stuff for my home, for where my wife and my son. You stay warm and and you can clean yourself. Those are the things that they are doing. And it's not just their own. Like, it's not just somebody inside of their singular post. Like, I'll take my American Legion post for an example. My American Legion post in Fallsington, Pennsylvania, literally has taken care of a homeless vet for 4 weeks, helped through 4 weeks, paid directly 3 weeks, but helped through 4 weeks of him staying in a hotel in these below sub-zero temperatures. And they had no affiliation to him at all whatsoever. I said and mentioned during a meeting that this guy was waiting for his benefits to come in, that I was helping him with some other people get his VA benefits, which he got. He was waiting on the check to come in because it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight when that stuff happens. And it got real cold. And they took the initiative and went to the hotel and started paying on a weekly basis for him to stay there until he got his money to do it on his own. That's what I'm talking about. These are the things that they do without any publication, without any, putting it out there. They heard about a soldier, they took care of him. They didn't ask, is he one of ours? Does he pay his dues? They didn't ask any of those questions. They said he's a disabled veteran with a DD 214. We got his back.
Yep. Yep. And I really appreciate everything that they did for me personally. And like I said, I am not a veteran,
Right.
but I have seen them, and I've been in the meetings where we sit there and we go, guys, here's somebody who's in trouble. We as the auxiliary, what do we want to do? Of course, I was never went into into a meeting. I was in the auxiliary meetings, but I saw the way that it was run in the auxiliary itself.
Yeah. Right.
And we had the same bylaws. We had the same everything that we ran it like they ran it.
Yep.
We had the same officers. We had all of that. And, we had that with the Warriors as well. So,
And even sometimes some of the VFW members were in the auxiliary meetings, because they like to be a part of both.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's great to have them there too. First off, look, like I said, I still think one of the greatest things, I haven't been to the VFW in probably 7 years. Okay. My accident was 10 years ago. I haven't been there for the past 7 years, partly because I almost felt guilty that I no longer go there, but I just, it became a part where, it became a little too much for me because of the drinking and everything. And I needed to distance myself from them. But every time I see one of them, any of them outside the building, they still treat me with the utmost respect. And I do my very best to do right back.
There you
go. They remember me by name. I remember them by, I don't care if they were called Sarge or Stretch or, I call them what they were. That's what they're comfortable. And it's a wonderful thing.
No, I hear you.
We really wanted to focus on pain because we need to.
Yeah.
We need to know. We need to have that dark conversation about what kind of pain you and your brothers and sisters go through. And we need people to hear it.
I hear you. So that, the physical and the mental was horrible. The mental pain that I went through, was constant guilt. So being over where I there was times where things happened. People didn't come home that I went over. I literally took the place of another soldier. Being in the National Guard in Pennsylvania, we had our unit left, and we had what was called fill-ins or refills, and we had to go. And I had just gotten home from airborne school and was told that, due to the fact that my father just had a triple bypass, I was put on the back of the list, blah, 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 whatever. So I had somebody come up to me and talk to me and say, hey, listen, I just graduated from college. Well, I'm getting ready to in 2 weeks. I just got engaged. I got my whole life ahead. Listen, I'll go. I'll take your spot. I jumped in it, went and did the train up, did all I needed to do, got over there, boots on ground. Did everything I needed to do, and don't like a month and a half later, he showed up anyways because they needed more. He's there, didn't come home. Had his whole life ahead of him. Another soldier that I was supposed to go out on a mission and take his spot for the day, and he came up last minute as I mounted the weapon up on the vehicle and said, I'm going. This is mine. I go with the commander. I'm his gunner, blah, blah, blah. I'm going. Okay, Sergeant. Roger that. Go back in, sit down, do what I'm doing, find another mission, take care of that mission. Lo and behold, over the radio, they got hit. He didn't make it. He didn't go home. Again, why me? Why am I still here and he's not? These are the things that we deal with on a daily basis that some guys never recover from, never figure it out, never get it out of their head, never get that moment back because of those moments that happen because they think they're in control and that they lead the way. And I most certainly am one of them that I thought it was my fault. Thought I did it. I did something. I made a choice. I did something wrong. But it's not us. It's his path. His path that we walk on. Get away. And the most horrible thing about going into the VA and going into the mental health era in the VA is that they have drudge it all up, relive it, feel it, deal with it, go back through that suicidal era, go through everything every single time. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It was probably more horrible than going through the situations that I went through than when I saw their family show up for them.
Yeah.
That was the pain that I was drowning in alcohol. That's what some of my fellow soldiers went to for the release was drugs, alcohol, whatever they could find to get their mind clear of that moment. And we fall down and we forget there's other people to help pick us up. The physical pain from jumping out of all the airplanes, the 6 bulging herniated discs in my neck, 4 in my lower back, the sciatica down both my legs, all that stuff. You just get pumped full of stuff. Take 1,200 milligrams of ibuprofen, drink water, do push-ups. That's what you get told in the military. Take ibuprofen, drink water, do push-ups. You'll be fine. And then when you get out, it's the VA. The VA does the same thing. Well, take this med, take this med, take this med. Oh, you got that side effect? Take this. You got that one? Well, let's give you this injection. Let's give you that. Liver, you got a fatty liver and you're dying. What do you mean? Well, the 31 pharmaceuticals we're pumping you full every day, the 4 ketamine infusions you're getting every month, the 10 trigger point injections down your spine every single week, and the 10 epidurals, that's part of it. The other part is because of you're getting all of those things, you're completely sedentary because of your injuries and all these things that we give you that totally drive you from your family, that totally drive you into that mental state that you can't move, that you can't go anywhere, that you can't do anything. You're now 350 pounds. Your sedentary lifestyle is what's killing your liver, not the alcohol, because I stopped drinking years ago. I was in total denial when they told me I had liver issues. And when I took back my life by focusing on my gut health, because the other guy that was here talking about it earlier today, your doctor who has 18 other names in front of him.
Yeah. Professor, doctor,
yeah. And he's got alphabet soup after his name. Right. Those guys were talking about gut health. Having your gut is your second brain. That's where all our neurotransmitters come from, Zach, is down in our gut. So when I got my gut healthy, I didn't lose my PTSD. I didn't lose my night terrors. I didn't lose my anxiety, my depression, suicide thoughts, all those things. But it got it to the point to where it wasn't 100% the only thing I was thinking about. And the side effect of getting your gut healthy is that your body can now absorb the proper nutrients and vitamins to rebuild, restore, rejuvenate the cells that God created us to be able to do that with. And once you do that, you can deal with the inflammation that's causing the pressure. You can deal with the weight gain that you have. I lost more than 150 plus pounds in a year, Zach, doing the regimen that I did and going down the path that I did because of the ability to absorb the proper nutrients, vitamins, and supplements. It was amazing. It wasn't anything that the VA did. Wasn't anything that they provided, anything that they gave. It was what I had to find on my own because they gave me 6 to 8 months to change my lifestyle, or I'd be dead before my son was 10 years old. I could not have that. I could not have that. It destroyed me when I lost my dad at 26. I wasn't going to do that to my son. I gave up smoking. I gave up alcohol. I wasn't giving up on him.
Yep. I love that. I absolutely love that. Thomas, when the hell, in which I got to be honest with you, this is not, yes, the VA is its own animal. We understand that. But you know what? This is pulling into everything when it comes to medical treatments. I'm able to sit there and say, oh my God, this medication is causing this because that's happened to me. I'm able to sit there and go, you know what? I was called a drug seeker
Right.
because I went in for relief because I couldn't move my freaking neck. And they finally sent me into a pain management specialist who found out my neck was broken 3 years after the accident. We
And
have,
see, the thing that kills me. Go ahead, Zach. Finish.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I
we
apologize.
have to stop looking for these shortcuts out and finding what is going on. This,
Yes.
look, these insurance companies, hey, nobody wants to give away lots and lots of money. Nobody wants to do it, okay? People are dying. And even worse, people
A lot of the listen, I'm not trying to say pharmaceuticals have no place or they're not good. Western medicine
absolutely.
saves lives, Zach. We both know that. You and I both know that. And we had generations of people that survived without them. So the thing is that those other avenues that you can go down just they can't be monetized as well as the other ones can. So that it follows us, which is horrible. You're doing it to us. You're putting us on there. You're giving us that stuff. And shove them where the sun don't shine because I won't do that. I'll suffer through the pain before I'll take a narcotic.
Now later, I'm still on, they want to put me on something else, and it's like, stop, fix it. I would much rather go through surgery, put my ass in a body cast for a couple weeks, whatever. When I get out, tell me I'm good.
Right.
Make sure I'm good.
Right.
But stop this BS on doing these little things. Let's get this fixed. Let's find what's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, when they went in to cut my shoulder open, the doctor said, told my wife right there in front of me, you know, yeah, he's going to be out in about 35, 40 minutes. I guess I was under for like 3 hours as they were repairing the ripped cartilage and cutting the straps of my shoulder and doing all the other damage that, and you know, when I woke up,
In there.
yeah, you know, it is actually kind of funny though. When they did repair my broken neck, the first thing I did when I woke up is, holy cow, I can turn my neck. And the nurse was like, don't do that. You know, but I'm like, but you don't understand. I can.
Right.
I was able to turn my neck.
Right. And that's the beautiful part of it. And that's what they didn't understand. And that's the other thing that kills a lot of us that goes through this, like that, not like kills us, but bothers us, is that so many people tell us what we need and what we need to do and have never experienced or been down the path that we're going down. That doctor's never had a broken neck, but he fixes it and tells you that you're not in pain. But he doesn't know the pain that you're in because he's never been in your situation. That nurse says, don't move your neck because she doesn't want to get in trouble for you experiencing something and getting hurt that she's never been through. She doesn't know that you can move your neck and that it's not going to hurt worse than what it did before it was fixed. You know, because
it's like eating a strawberry sundae. You know, it doesn't happen enough. That's that's the truth. I got to ask you one more question, and then we got to switch segments. Thomas, you and we talked about doing something. I threw an offer out at you. I'm going to bug the hell out of you until you accept it. I'm just telling you right now.
I accept.
You got it, man.
We're in.
We've got to put it together. But I want to bring up a point that really makes this feeling stick. John Vogel's one of my very best friends in the world. Okay. I love this man. I love him with all my heart. I know what pain is because John told me what he goes through. He lost his son at 3 years old because his son got out of the house and drowned in the family pond. John told me once something that made the pain to.
When I sat there in bed and I wanted to kill myself, I felt responsible for the things that had happened. I remember what I did. Could I have done something different? That regret that you have sometimes when you make the wrong choice of what type of topping you wanted on your pizza, and times it by 1,000, because you don't know what you don't know until you know that you didn't know what was going to happen. And it's not easy to be there alone, because when I say I was there alone, I had people everywhere around me, my wife, a son, my mom, my family, but I was alone. I was sitting there alone in here. And it was all dark. And the only way I can describe it is all these little things talking to you. I'm not trying to say demons. I'm not trying to say leprechauns. I'm not trying to say any of those things. I'm just saying all of those things talking to you and telling you, you did this. You did this. This is your fault. You're responsible. You could have made a choice.
Look
What
what,
did
you did now.
Yep. Look at what you did. Did you get out of bed today? Did you make a change? Did you make a difference? Did you yell at your wife? Did you yell at your son? Did you scream? Did you lose control? Did you do this? Did you do that? And it starts to compound. And then anxiety of worrying about, oh my God, if I'm around him, I'm going to yell at him. I'm going to hurt his feelings. If I'm around her, I'm going to yell at her. And it just builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And you feel safer alone. You feel safer, secluded. You think everybody else is safer. You think everybody else is doing better. But you don't even understand or realize the hurt that you're causing them by not being there with them.